The World Cup is supposed to bring the world together. But before the first ball is even kicked, the 2026 World Cup is already facing one uncomfortable question. Is this tournament really about football? Or is it becoming a border test? Because Donald Trump has just made a statement that has pushed the biggest football event on earth into a political storm. Welcome back to the Football Xtra Live, where we go beyond the pitch, beyond the scoreline, and into the real stories shaping football. And today's story is not just about goals, trophies, or group stage predictions. This one is about borders, visas, security, and the politics surrounding the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Speaking ahead of the tournament, President Donald Trump said the United States is preparing to host what he believes will be the most successful World Cup in history. Big words, huge confidence. And to be fair, on paper, this tournament is massive. 48 teams. 3 host nations, 104 matches, millions of traveling fans, billions watching from every corner of the world. But then came the comment that changed the whole conversation. Talking about visas and entry into the United States, Trump said his administration is working to make sure only the right people are allowed into the country. And just like that, the World Cup stopped being only about football. Now it is about immigration. Now it is about security. Now it is about borders. And fans around the world are asking, who decides who is the right person to attend the biggest football tournament on earth? And this is not just a random political debate. This issue is already touching real people inside the World Cup. One of the biggest examples is Somali referee Omar Artan. He was supposed to make history as the first Somali referee to officiate at a fiscal World Cup. For Somalia, this was more than football. This was pride. This was representation. This was a message to young African referees that they too can reach the biggest stage. But according to Fox News, Artan was denied entry into the United States after US officials said he was flagged during security checks. Fox News reported that a Trump administration official claimed the issue involved derogatory information, including alleged association with suspected members of terror organizations. That is the American side of the story. But for many football fans watching from Africa, the story feels painful. Because a referee who worked his whole life for this moment was stopped before even reaching the pitch. No whistle, no World Cup debut, no historic moment, just an airport, questioning, and a dream suddenly blocked. Now, supporters of Trump's position will say, look, the World Cup is huge. Millions of people are traveling. America has every right to protect its borders. If security agencies see a concern, they cannot ignore it just because football is involved. And honestly, that argument is not easy to dismiss. Every host nation has a responsibility to protect fans, players, officials, stadiums, and the entire tournament. But critics see something different. Critics are asking, if a World Cup referee with FIFA credentials can be blocked, what happens to ordinary fans? What happens to journalists? What happens to supporters from countries already facing travel restrictions? And that takes us directly to Iran. Iran's situation has become one of the most sensitive stories around this World Cup. The Iranian team is involved in a tournament hosted partly by the United States, at a time when political tension between the two countries is extremely high. Iran's players were eventually allowed to enter the US before their matches, but reports say some federation staff were denied visas. Then came another claim from Iran's Football Federation. They claimed FIFA had revoked ticket allocations for Iranian fans for matches taking place in the United States. And if fans cannot travel freely, then the question becomes even bigger. Can you call it the world's game if parts of the world feel blocked from entering? This is where FIFA President Gianni Infantino comes in. Infantino has been selling this tournament as the biggest, greatest, and most inclusive World Cup ever. And maybe he is right about the size. This is the biggest World Cup in history. But when he was challenged by reporters, including a BBC journalist, over visa problems, border issues, and the Somali referee case, his answer was clear. FIFA is a football organization. It is not a government. It cannot force the United States, Canada, or Mexico to ignore their own immigration and security laws. In simple terms, Infantino's message was this: FIFA cannot overrule governments, police, or national security decisions. Legally, that answer makes sense, but emotionally, it leaves fans divided. Because in the past, Infantino himself said that teams, fans, and officials who qualify for a World Cup need to have access to the host country. Otherwise, there is no World Cup. Now, fast forward to 2026, and the same issue is no longer just theory. It is happening in real time. A Somali referee has been denied entry. Iranian fans are facing uncertainty. Some officials are struggling with visas. Rights groups are warning about immigration fears. And Trump is saying only the right people should come in. That is why this World Cup feels different. Normally, before a World Cup, we talk about Brazil, Argentina, France, England, Messi, Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, tactics, injuries, and predictions. But this time, one of the biggest talking points is not only who will win the trophy, it is who will be allowed through the border. And maybe that is the real tension of the 2026 World Cup. FIFA wants the world to see celebration. Trump wants the world to see security. Fans want football, but politics is already standing at the gate. So yes, this could still become the most successful World Cup in history. The stadiums may be full, the TV numbers may break records, the goals may be unforgettable. But the shadow is already there. Because when football meets borders, the game is never just a game anymore. So here is the big question for you. Is Trump simply protecting the tournament and keeping America safe? Or is the 2026 World Cup slowly becoming the most political World Cup of the modern era? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you want football stories that go beyond the pitch, subscribe to the Football Xtra Live.